Midday in the Queen City, business is booming, and you know there is no business like Cincinnati-style show business. Let's do lunch. Cincinnati is a city that means business. Fortune 500 company HQs, renowned institutions like Children's Hospital and the Cincinnati Zoo, and letters that everyone here knows: TQL, GE, CVG, UC, and X. It's also a city that's large enough for new ideas to take root and grow. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and you're in business. I'm Jack Crumley, and this is The Working Lunch. Hello, welcome to The Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. This is our hour-long business show here on The Crown, where we bring you updates on local companies and what businesses are up to. We bring you exclusive interviews with local leaders and CEOs. And of course, sometimes we try to squeeze in a bite to eat, maybe something to drink before you go back to face the afternoon. Glad to have you. Cincinnati business headlines. As the battle over THC drinks continues in Ohio, City Council in Hamilton is making moves to get marijuana dispensaries set up. At last night's council meeting, they voted to undo a local ban and approve zoning changes that'll put limits on where those marijuana dispensaries can operate. Nothing near schools and nothing in the Hamilton Historic District. The state of Ohio recently put some new restrictions on what is sold and the operational regulations for legal recreational marijuana dispensaries, but it's still big tax revenue for the municipalities that allow it. Quick traffic note to pass your way. The Brent Spence Corridor project now has the ramp from northbound 71, that exit to 2nd Street downtown, and the southbound 75 exit to 2nd Street closed for the next 2.5 years. Detouring around, you'll want to use that 5th Street exit. That'll be a bit more popular unless you want to go through Fort Washington Way and detour around there. This is just another chapter in all the traffic issues we're going to be dealing with as this new bridge is constructed. In that same vein, in Kentucky, the city of Covington has been particularly affected by traffic and road closures as things gear up for that big bridge project. Lee's Steakhouse in Main Strasse already announced a very abrupt closure, specifically saying it was because of that work cutting off traffic. We know that Covington has been working with the state of Kentucky on funding to put out messaging for businesses that are affected by all these changes. And now, Link NKY today posting a piece on the city launching a new marketing campaign called Uncover Covington. It's a way to keep local people aware of what's going on in Covington and how to get at those things that are going on. Marketing Covington as a destination for the area and tourism in general. Businesses can sign up to have their events listed on the site. There is also a branding kit available, social media assets, and more. Just trying to get the word out. There's also a newsletter so people can be updated on what's happening in Covington. The website uncovercovington.com is live now. My guest on the show today is Ben Press. He's the founder and CEO of Press Play Media Advisors here in Cincinnati. It connects brands with different celebrities for mutual benefit. Ben has decades of work in the entertainment industry, and with him having this new venture here, I wanted to put parts of the entertainment industry in Cincinnati in the spotlight. This was a thriving distribution center for film production companies back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Filmmaking was very much a part of the light industry that propelled the economy of Cincinnati and over the Rhine. Hence the Warner Brothers building on Central Parkway and Liberty, which is apparently for sale right now. Speaking of Warner Brothers,
so what do you want me to do? Where's the creamer?
On the counter where it always is.
He's in your group, right? What's it called again?
The Justice Gang.
Nope.
We're not called that.
Yeah, your name is Mr. Terrific. You don't get a vote with a name like that.
I also voted against it.
Yes, and as leader, I get tiebreaker. No, Superman is not officially a member.
Because you don't want him to vote. You know which way that would go.
Shut up. He's kidding. So, how do you even know Superman anyway?
I just do.
So you know about the hypno glasses?
Now she does.
Well, I'm not saying who he is, just that he wears hypno glasses. They make his face terrific. How do they work? They make his face look different in your brain when he wears them so that you don't know who he is?
Yes, I know this, first of all. But second of all, you really shouldn't be telling me this in case I don't know who he is.
So you know he's Clark Kent.
Oh my God, why does he trust everyone?
He doesn't. Just us, because we are also of the cloth.
That is one of this area's most recent movie successes, Superman, from just last year, where you can tell the filmmakers really wanted to let you know that they were really in the Hall of Justice. For the 3 people watching who don't know, there used to be a Hanna-Barbera animation studio here in Cincinnati, and when they were making the old Super Friends cartoon in the 70s, Union Terminal was the inspiration for the cartoon Hall of Justice. Flash forward to 2025, and it all comes full circle. Just look at that. Union Terminal is basically another character in this scene. I think that, movies are so green screened now that it gets really exciting for filmmakers to have an actual, real-life, cool place to shoot a scene in. That is beautiful, and it makes Union Terminal look gorgeous. There were lots of questions about the future of movies after COVID struck, and movie theaters have had a really rough time. But just this week, Variety has a feature story about how Gen Z moviegoers and a number of surprise hits have Hollywood banking on $10 billion in box office this year. Getting a piece of that, movie production in this area has become big business, and it's become much more of a regular occurrence thanks to the work of Film Cincinnati, the Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Film Commission, a nonprofit that attracts, promotes, and cultivates film, television, and commercial production in the area. President and CEO Kristen Schlottman has worked for years to build that organization. She's involved with getting studios to shoot here. She works with state lawmakers to offer incentives like the Ohio Motion Picture Tax Credit, 30% on production cast and crew wages, as long as that production spends at least $300,000 in the state. Kentucky has its own tax incentives for film and TV production as well. Film Cincinnati also offers contacts to find local professionals to work on the crew behind the camera on productions here. Shout out to Cincinnati Experience here. Go ahead. No, hit that. So that's a video from Cincinnati Experience, as you might recall Jay Jansen being on the show, breaking down all sorts of different productions that have been going on here. Shout out to them for that video. That was produced back during the COVID times to play up this area's production bona fides. In terms of education, the University of Cincinnati's Peter Niehoff is the vice president of the Film Cincinnati Media and Television. He heads up UC's Niehoff Center for Film and Media Studies. Taking a look at that outfit's goals in the coming years, the Niehoff Center handles over 50 screenings, lectures, and workshops every year, at least 24 student scholarships for travel and research and creative projects, and it generates over 100 books, articles, films, and media projects. Cincinnati is consistently ranked among the best places to shoot a film. Movie Maker magazine has put us on its list for multiple years now. There's the headline for 2026. This year, we ranked at number 15. Movie Maker citing Cincinnati's strong emphasis on green space and expanding network of bike trails as reasons why people should live here if they still want to make movies as a professional. It also points out our wide variety of Italianate architecture, which helps Cincinnati stand in for a lot of other cities and other time periods. And stop me if you've heard this one, it also points out Cincinnati's cost of living being below the national average. And film is celebrated here in a variety of ways. Independent Film Festival, which is an organization that is very near and dear to my heart, you can see it there, just premiered their poster for the 2026 festival. That's coming up this September. Thousands of people expected to attend that. It comes after Cindependent and the Over the Rhine International Film Festival had a merger earlier this year to expand the power of storytelling, independent movie storytelling in this region. The organization Women in Film Cincinnati just celebrated its 10-year anniversary. Cincinnati also has Horror Hound Weekend. That's coming up in September, bringing stars like Robert Englund to the Sharonville Convention Center. The Jewish and Israeli Film Festival was this past January, and the annual Outreels Film Festival is in November. Lots of others. This is not an exhaustive list. Real quick, when it comes to the stage, because we are talking about entertainment here, we just got the Broadway League's most recent economic impact report showing that performances that come to the Aronoff Center with the First Financial Bank Broadway in Cincinnati series presented by TriHealth have contributed more than $200 million in economic activity in the last 2 years in Greater Cincinnati. 185,000 people coming downtown every year just for that series. That report projected the recently wrapped run of The Lion King to be responsible for over $30 million in economic activity over the 4 weeks of its run. Hamilton ran in December. That accounted for another $32 million. And we know that it's a ripple effect. There's a quote in that report from Tavern Restaurant Group CEO Nick Sanders about how Nicholson's Pub on Walnut Street considers itself to be a part of the local theater district as the preferred destination for a pre-show meal. And you know I'm going to talk about the local theater scene. There is Cincinnati Landmark Productions, friend of the show. You can see their latest production running right now at the Warsaw Federal Incline Theater. Cincinnati Landmark Productions has that theater, the Covedale, and Madcap Puppets. They hire and pay more than 200 local artists. They're sustained by 40,000 patrons, and they do over $2 million in annual revenue. The Cincinnati Shakespeare Company is in the $17 million Otto M. Buddig Theater in Over the Rhine, operating with a budget of more than $4 million. Here's their impressive annual report in terms of what people's support has generated: artistic excellence in the area, educational impact, community building, and of course operating results, both expenses largely going to salaries and then revenue, just a third of it coming from actual ticket sales, revenue coming in a variety of different ways there for Cincy Shakes. We have previously talked about the big music venues in town and the crowds that they attract with big-time performances. Cincinnati Symphony, we have the Cincinnati Ballet and the Opera as well. There's a lot of entertainment talent here in Cincinnati, and that really just scratches the surface. Someone here in town who manages talent and connects talented people with businesses for both to grow is Ben Press, founder and CEO of Press Play Media Advisors. He's my guest coming up after this. You're watching The Working Lunch on The Crown. Stick around.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is The Crown.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the first word. Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Powered Power through midday with the Working Lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First word for your morning sports, the Working Lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
My name is Jack Crumley. I've been covering news in Cincinnati on the radio for the last 20 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but Cincinnati has always felt like home since day one. I've seen so many things accomplished here, and now, with the Working Lunch, I get to write, read, and talk about them every day. Hard-working people with a drive and a dream. Innovative ideas that help shape this city. Cincinnati is a great city, and I'm excited to tell you about it every day.
My name is James Rapine, and I host First Word every weekday morning, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. Prior to joining The Crown Network, I covered the Bengals for Sports Illustrated for 6 seasons. I also am the founder of Cincinnati Bengals Talk on YouTube and wrote the book, Enter the Jungle, a history of the Cincinnati Bengals. Couldn't be more excited to join you every weekday morning for First Word right here on The Crown.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. I'm joined now by Ben Press, who is the founder and CEO of Press Play Media Advisors here in town. Came here just last year to set this up. Ben, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jack.
So you have some pretty good resume built up in terms of connections with celebrities. The whole point of Press Play Media Advisors is connecting talented people with companies. But so where did Press Play Media Advisors come from for you? What made you want to set that up?
Well, it plays into my pedigree. So I was a talent agent in Hollywood for a little more than 25 years, and I represented major movie stars, and from Ray Liotta, Don Cheadle, Denzel Washington, Steve Martin, all different types, and it was an exciting run. And then I pivoted into entertainment media, tech startups, and then moved to Cincinnati a year and a half ago, and which it's a passion of mine living here. I'm very excited to be situated here, and I figured a new city and where I'm going to be, period, and I want to start a business here. I want to really plant myself and build something new here, and certainly new for the Midwest, I think. So I realized my love of entertainment media, venture, and I launched Press Play Media Advisors, which is it's a form of, I call it reverse agenting. I now represent companies that want to partner with celebrities.
Oh, interesting.
And these are real equity, skin in the game partnerships. This isn't pay to play. Here's a bag of cash, go do a social media post. This is in the trenches with you partnership. All the way through, and it's been very exciting. I, of course, leverage my decades of relationships in Hollywood, so anybody who runs any major talent agency, management company, studio, network, whatever, they're all my peers. We all grew up in the biz together. So I can access any movie and TV star, rock star, athlete. They're all represented by that coterie of agency management companies, et cetera. So I have access to everybody.
Was it important for you to have that equity buy-in? Was that sort of a defining part of starting this outfit?
That's a great question. It was and it is, because there's something going on in the industry right now. No surprise to those that pay attention to it, but the entertainment media industry is going through an inflection point. I always say it's the equivalent of when it went from silent to talkies in the 20s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Some people thrived and some people lost their livelihood. And what's going on now is you have these major names in the business who used to have day jobs constantly, film, TV, that's gone. The whole business has really accordioned in. So as a result, you have a lot of these major names sitting on the bench saying to their reps, put me to work somewhere.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to go venture, to have a equity stake in a company, it used to be only for the entrepreneurial-minded celebs. And I like to say, since then, most of the communities become entrepreneurialized, and they realize the opportunity. Not to mention, if you're an equity partner in a company with an exit, that's a liquid event that equals, if not more, of what they'd be making on a film or TV series.
Right on. So you're representing companies. Is that the reason why did you move to Cincinnati?
Well, my wife is from here, so I have lineage. But we would come here, and I grew up in New York City, in Manhattan, and then 34 years in LA. And after coming here for a number of years, I finally looked at my wife Rebecca, and I said, "How are we not living here? This city is extraordinary. The restaurant scene, culture, the people, the beauty," and she looked at me and said, "Really?" I said, "Come on, let's do this." Not to mention, it's like a 90% off sale on everything from LA. So
we talk about cost of living on this show a lot.
So we started to look at properties, and we really lucked out and got an extraordinary place in North Avondale, and love it. And we did it. We made the move and got here in early February of 2025, and never looked back. And it's been just an incredible experience, and continues to grow in enjoyment and certainly entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
And,
Well, so what is it like starting a new thing now? You've gone from coastal living to the Midwest, and still keeping, this star-connected business adjacent world that you're in going. How has that been going so far?
It's been phenomenal, because I get to play on the counter programming of it all. So on the coasts, what I do is not unheard of. Here in the Midwest, in Cincy and beyond, absolutely, I'm a unicorn. Nobody's doing this. And when I meet with my prospective clients, these various companies, late-stage startups, mid-sized companies, they're so surprised that they are able to access star athletes, like I said, rock stars, film and TV stars, for potential partnerships, and I can open the door and truly make that contact, that connect for them, and the most organic and authentic way. And it's really exciting. I'm carving a path here that was not realized by business owners that they could take.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. I get to inform, I get to achieve, I get to create a reputation for a brand new business in a brand new lane. Who ever gets that kind of opportunity in a city like Cincinnati that has all the amenities and all the vitality? This is no backwater city.
Right.
This is a major city, and to be able to be in the vanguard of what I'm doing, I mean, that's for an entrepreneur, truly a dream come true.
And how has the response been? I mean, what is the process? Are you cold calling businesses and trying to get through? I mean, how has the response been? Is it easy to get through and start establishing these relationships?
Yeah, I call it, it's a blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
I have made incredible relationships in the community. Again, one of the reasons to move here was how wonderful the people are. And I mean this in the best sense. The bar to entry in relationships is low here, in a good way, a good low. It's not like you have to wait in line for a long time before you can meet someone or get an intro. I hit the ground running and got to know so many incredible people, leadership in this city, and they have connected me to companies, to owner-operators, and what have you. And it's I have been pitching and meeting and just hitting. I mean, it's a lot of hustle, but I knew that.
Well, and there's been a lot of discussion that we've had on this show about how relationships define things. It's a little catchphrase that runs in the beginning about knowing somebody who knows somebody, and that's how networks and businesses begin. What you're doing here, decades of experience and connections that you've had, this is all relationships.
It is, and Jack, you said network. There's a famous phrase, your network is your net worth.
Okay.
And truly, I'm not volumizing for the sake of being quantitative. I want to be qualitative, but also, open the margins to meet and be with as many quality people, which, by the way, ain't hard here in Cincinnati. Certainly compared to LA. But I'm so grateful that I've met people who put me in front of other people, and it's just worked. It's been incredible. It's really been a burgeoning situation where I've now signed several clients, all different types of companies. I'm agnostic as far as the type of company I represent, as long as they're truly bona fide and successful and not going to fold overnight. I have to have a company that when I reach out to my contacts in Hollywood, I know that they're going to be in it for the long haul.
And does that apply to, say, mid-sized companies that are here in Cincinnati?
100%.
No
and even
kidding.
late-stage startups. And I say late-stage startups because I have, as a veteran of being involved with startups myself, sometimes when it's too early, the celebrity wants to get a little bit more kind of proof of life,
Oh, sure, yeah.
before they dive in.
Especially since you're talking about equity stakes being involved.
Exactly, and there's also the good old-fashioned ego. At the end of the day, star X doesn't want to turn to star Y and say, yeah, I had equity stake in these companies and they all folded.
Yeah.
That's not something they would. So they want to come on board a company that shows that they've got the heft and the wherewithal.
In terms of your sort of resume, I would imagine that maybe name dropping is not something you like to do, but there are some pictures that you have posted of some people that you have had interactions with over the years. You were at the 2024 Emmys. That's what this picture is from, right? That's when Pedro Pascal was in that sling.
Yes.
So that's you and him at the 24 Emmys.
That's and then the Netflix soiree post.
Oh, right on.
Which was incredible. And that was, I have to say, one of the great perks of being in the industry all those years is, your job is to be at the Oscars, be at the Emmys, be at the premieres, and that's work.
That's cool.
The great downfall of all of that, I have to now out this, is that at these events, they have the greatest food you've ever seen, but you can't touch any of it, because if you're doing business and you're with your clients and you're meeting people, you can't be like
chewing.
this. So I'd go home starved and having the greatest food in the world in front of me, and I couldn't touch it. So
Well, that's not too dissimilar from people that are on set, like those poor folks on the cast of The Sopranos shooting a scene where you're eating these amazing dinners, but like if you're talking multiple takes, you're probably not swallowing all that manigot all the time.
No, you turn around and spit.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So, you were in that same situation with different folks.
Well, luckily, no spitting.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Right, just not eating at all.
I'm so grateful for the experiences I had, and I got to grow up in the industry. I literally started in the mailroom, the proverbial mailroom of, at the time, ICM Agency, which was one of the global major agencies. And then I was an assistant to the biggest talent agent in the biz for 4 years. It was like getting a PhD in the industry, because his client list was the greatest list of stars in the biz. And then I was promoted, and I got to run with it. And it was, like I said, very exciting. But at the end of the day, I am an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I did have my own agency I started. I had for several years called Fortitude, and I sold it to Don Buckwell and Associates.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that.
Represents Howard Stern. And, but I wanted to start businesses. That was really where, and as I have now, something, and businesses I'm passionate about, because I can't fake it.
Is it about finding the right fit, though, for like meeting with a company and understanding a company that you're now, taking on as a client for all intents and purposes, and then trying to match what they're doing and what their sort of vibe is as an organization to what a given, singer or TV star brings to the table?
Great question. So the way it works, and my clientele. One is a vehicle company, another is an in-home care company, another is a women's health and wellness company, all different, like I said, all different sectors. The common denominator is all of them have a customer base. So I go in and do a deep dive due diligence on the customer base and say, okay, the following celebrities, and this is where I vet, I do my research, the following celebrities, and I'll provide a list of 10, speak directly to your customer demographic. And I want feedback. If the CEO says to me, I really have my heart set on an NBA player, whatever, terrific, then we'll go that route. But I present everything across all buckets, actors, musicians, athletes, and then we'll decide on one to go to at a time. You have to go exclusively because oftentimes these celebrities are repped by the same agency.
Sure.
And they can't all be, someone's going to lose a client.
Some big cattle call where everybody's sitting around in the lobby waiting to go in.
So we will go exclusively to Celebrity One. And I will contact them, reach out. If I don't have the relationship myself, which oftentimes I do, I'll go through the agent, manager, publicist, attorney, all of whom I know. It's such a clubby industry. We all grew up together in the biz. And then I will set a meeting for the celebrity and their team with my client and myself. And if everybody feels good about each other and the questions are asked and the answers are appropriate, the celebrity or their team will say, okay, we want to move forward. And I'll negotiate the equity allocation, the scope of services year over year, because it's very important to define what is expected of the celebrity. Do they show up at that activation? Do they curate that dinner that they're going to be at, that event, what have you? And these celebrities do have day jobs, so you can't take up too much time over the year. You have to schedule it around their professional availability. And that's really how it works. And then the goal through all of this is that ultimately there will be an exit. And like I said, that equity turns into a liquid event.
And the idea is that, everybody's going to benefit. Obviously, the endorser, for maybe the lack of a better way to say it, is getting paid, and then the company gets to grow because of that endorsement.
It's a win-win across the board. That's what makes me so happy. This is not a zero-sum game. This is everybody wins. So what that looks like is you have a company exit, which is obviously very good for the principals. Very good for my clients, the celebrities who have partnered, and it's great for my reputation.
Sure.
That I've been involved in exits. Now I'm brand new. I started the company several months ago. We'll get to the exit stage, but right now I'm in the brokering the actual partnership stage.
Yeah, you're Cincinnati's Dolly Levi, right? You're matchmaking over here.
I am matchmaking. It's a lot of fun, and I would never do this if it didn't provide enjoyment for me. I learned that a long time ago. You can't always try to do something that you would do for free. Then
you never work a day in your life.
Now, don't do it for free, but you would, because it is that enjoyable, that just stimulating and speaks to like I said, my soul.
Right on. Ben Press is the founder and CEO of Press Play Media Advisors, matching up companies with celebrities. Everybody wins. It's beneficial all around. We've got more with Ben coming up, but we got to take a break first. We'll be back with more Working Lunch after this. You're watching The Crown. Stick around.
What is The Crown? It's simple, really. Authentic Cincinnati entertainment. Not hot takes from a studio 3 states away. Not national noise pretending to know this city. Rather, bringing a voice to those who call the Queen City home. Where can I watch The Crown shows? Join us live from 7 to 11 a.m. for First Word and 12 to 1 for the Working Lunch on RESN. No live TV? No problem. Stream and interact with all of our content on major podcast, broadcast, and streaming platforms. The Crown is Cincinnati. Loud, passionate, competitive, proud. From early morning sports debates to the business leaders shaping the riverfront, to the fans, stories, moments, and culture that make this place move. Live shows, podcasts, documentaries, digital content built from Cincinnati, for Cincinnati. This is The Crown.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones. Just your typical 40-year-old Cincinnati girl. Although, no, I'm not married or divorced. I don't have any kids, and I don't live in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is the West Side, by the way. But what I do have is a lot of freaking time, and I've been using it well. So come along with me on this grand adventure, because I've been trying all the new around town that you need to know about. This is Nat Tries That.
My name's Jacob Tissett, and I'm a co-host of First Word from 7 to 11 every morning right here on the Crown Network, where we will break down the biggest stories in Cincinnati sports. I'm a graduate of the University of Alabama, where I spent 4 seasons working for the football team as a student assistant, contributing to the 2020 National Championship and 3 SEC championships. I'm a Cincinnati native, a St. Xavier High School graduate, and will bring a local perspective and passion to covering the Bengals, Reds, and everything in between. I'm excited to have you join us on First Word.
Hey, I'm Marissa Contapelli, one of the co-hosts on First Word and a features producer here on The Crown, where I will be out and about in Cincinnati bringing you the stories that you need to hear in the Queen City. Now, I know I'm from Cleveland, but I love my Cincy sports. I've been in Cincinnati for almost a decade now, spending the last 8 seasons with the Bengals as a team reporter and senior producer. I am so excited to be a part of the team here at The Crown, and I can't wait to bring you the latest from around the city.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley, joined by Ben Press of Press Play Media Advisors, connecting companies with celebrities for equity and endorsement. Matchmaker, making matches here in Cincinnati. Ben, you talked about growing up in the industry and having decades. What does growing up in the industry mean?
What it means is I started the way that all my peers did, at least on my side of the business, in the proverbial mailroom.
Oh, wow.
I was accepted into the training program at the time, this is 1991, at ICM, International Creative Management, which was one of the biggest global agencies, represented easily more than half the major stars in the world. And I started pushing a cart.
Yeah.
And in a building, by the way, this is a fun stat, that was the 4th worst building to be in an earthquake in Los Angeles. And they put all of us kids in the mailroom in the basement.
Yeah, mailroom ain't on the top floor.
They're like, hey, let's just pancake the building on top of the kid. But anyway, so then I was promoted. I became the first assistant to a legendary agent named Ed Lamato. When I say first assistant, he had an assistant outside the office. I was the guy inside. My desk was attached to his. I was on the headset on every call and typed every conversation into a database. I was the 1991 version of AI. And
you were just HI.
Exactly. And his client list then, just to give you an idea of who I dealt with on a daily basis for the next 4 years, was Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Richard Gere, Denzel Washington, Anthony Hopkins, Steve Martin, Nicolas Cage, Madonna.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
That's every name from them.
I was air traffic controlling those calls and listening to negotiations, and it was like a PhD in the biz.
And what was it that got you out of the mailroom in the first place? Was it just gumption?
So I knew you're told you're given enough run to rope with or hang enough rope to run with or hang yourself, basically. So I knew the clock was ticking. You know, you got to make reign with it's an opportunity to be in the mailroom. You got to work on getting promoted. Otherwise, you'll spend your whole career in the mailroom. They don't care if you don't rise up. So I knew that the first assistant to Ed's office was leaving. I started helping him in the morning, organizing this, that, and he finally put a good word in. I interviewed with Ed, and I got it. And then I was promoted 4 years later. And, again, here's enough rope to run with or hang yourself. The attitude is, okay, you got to sign people. If not, you're out the door. And so I immediately went out. I signed Ray Liotta and Don Cheadle and many other incredible actors. Yes, celebrities, but actors first. It was always important to me that I represent people that were bulletproof in their craft. It was very exciting, and I got their films. I put Don in Boogie Nights, I put Ray in Copland, I put and so many more films. But I got to really work on these careers, and it was the most rewarding experience. And these were incredible people. And look, working with actors specifically, I'm in awe of their craft and their artistry. They can be a little nutty. We used to joke around. Remember, it was an actor that shot Lincoln.
Right.
You got, some of them are a little off the rails, famously, but it was a privilege, and I'm so grateful to have built a career as a talent agent in Hollywood, especially in the era I was in, which was the 90s, 2000s. Just to fast forward, I then went on to run the talent department in an agency called Paradigm, which was a fast-growing agency, and it was a very exciting period. It taught me a lot about the TV business, because ICM was primarily, for me, motion picture. And then I figured, okay, it's enough. I've learned from some of the greats. I got to start my own. Again, the entrepreneurial.
Which is a huge jump from working in these big companies with big connections that you already have, and then going out and doing your own thing. That's a huge change.
Well, there's also something, I knew it was in my DNA, in the sense that my great-grandfather came to this country in the late 1880s and started a business in 1902 that exists to this day called J Press. It's a men's clothing company, and very revered and very successful. And I thought, he started that in 1902, a kid basically off the boat from Russia. How do I not start my own business? I have this lineage. Okay. So I had a hunger to do that. Plus, why work for others? And so I launched Fortitude, my talent agency, in 2007. And it was an incredible run. We were a Shark Tank, really aggressive, punch above our weight boutique agency. Yeah. And we packaged America's Next Top Model for client Tyra Banks, and a series called Fashion Star for client Elle McPherson, and many other shows and films, and it was incredible. Then I sold it to Don Buchwald and Associates, who represents Howard Stern, right, who I grew up listening to. Of course, I still do.
I mean, Don Buchwald was a really big deal, and we do have a picture from the Elle McPherson connection there. A couple of there we go.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it's just, I don't know, the relationships and the connections that you have to do this thing. Is it weird because so much of it is relationship based? There's you and Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Looks like from quite a while ago.
That was a big reception, and he was very present in Hollywood. Still is, more so than he is now. But what a great guy. We spent quite a bit of time hanging out, and I was kind of in awe.
And then my favorite one, I am of a certain age where I will always be a tremendous fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think he is maybe the definition of a movie star.
So Arnold was a client of ICM, and I got involved, and when he was running for governor, I fundraised, and I hosted that fundraiser, and he got up behind them. I go, "Thank you, Ben," for
sure.
And it was a pinnacle moment. But he is incredible.
Is it easy for you to separate maybe personal feelings from business, because so much of what you're doing is relationship based, and you're dealing with, like you said, maybe some personalities that might be a little more demanding than others, and if you don't like somebody but maybe you do work with them, how do you navigate that sort of personal and professional feeling?
Great question, because I was told by a mentor on the way up the ladder, remember, it's show business, not show friends.
Yeah.
And one of the great mistakes one can make is to become really good friends with their clients, because ultimately they, not always, but they will leave you. I mean, my mentor at L'Amato had Anthony Hopkins, who left him literally the day after Tony Hopkins won the Oscar. Now, if you're leaving someone the day after you leave, it can happen to anyone, and for no reason whatsoever. So, it can be very hurtful if you're that close and then they leave, because it's known to happen quite a bit. But my point is, you really need to work the relationship authentically, not put on a veneer and, hey, babe, all that kind of, over-the-top crap. You really need to be somebody, at the end of the day, an agent, a manager, a representative, is a traffic cop, a kindergarten teacher, a psychotherapist, all of those and more for their client.
And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger played all those roles over the course of his career.
Exactly, very successfully. So it is relationship-based, and my entire career, including up to today and beyond, is, knock on wood, is all about relationships.
Yeah. And I would think that this might be a little bit of like local horn tooting, but the idea of approaching a conversation, approaching a relationship with authenticity, I would think plays pretty well in the Midwest. There's that sort of stereotypical sense of, honest, hard-working folk.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that was a big draw for me to move here, because I started to get over the L.A. Whole thing.
Yeah,
So I find that the populace here, in business and personal, relationships, is so genuine. They'll tell you how they feel, which, by the way, as a native New Yorker, that I really appreciate.
The honesty
because they do that there,
sure.
maybe with a few more inflections in New York. Few more four-letter words, but you will understand how people feel, and I really like that it's all out there on the table in a very tasteful manner. It's been extremely helpful in doing business and making great friends.
In terms of things that play here and things that you've learned over these decades of having these connections and working for these agencies and running your own agencies, you had a company called Trace Me.
Yes.
You had Joy Sauce, which really played up Asian American talent. That was all just before COVID hit. Are there any things that you learned from these, your times doing the coastal stuff that doesn't translate here? Things that don't really work here the way that they do someplace else?
That's a good question. I've never thought of that. I have to say, everything right now is the circles fit in the circles and the square fits in the square.
Yeah.
It is to me, a natural jumping off point from my decades in LA and previous to that to being raised in New York City. I think what you get here in Cincinnati, and by the way, this is business and pleasure and life, is a no-nonsense presentation of what's right. And by the way, I'll even take it down to, you go to restaurants or you buy something, you look at the bill, you don't go, what the heck? You go, yeah, that's what it should cost. Yeah. And I think that translates in ethos to the entire place. Everybody here is so, and I'm sure there's exceptions, but I haven't met them, so forthright and so honest, and you don't have to have a shield up with the way you do in the cities, my previous cities, because, someone said to me, this is another thing, a friend said, look, in Cincinnati, reputation is everything. Mm-hmm. And
as opposed to other places? Is that such a unique Cincinnati thing?
Well, I'll say in L.A., people like second, third, fourth, fifth acts, you get more opportunities after you've fallen. And I'll use an example that is a good example. Mm-hmm. Robert Downey Jr. once upon a time was in handcuffs and an orange, suit in a penitentiary, and it looked like he was never going to work again, but he was given a shot and built up, and look where he is now.
Sure.
Now, that's a very positive thing, but I think here, your reputation, if you transgress, if one does in a way against another in business or what have you, you're done, and I like that. Mm-hmm. I think because it means that people have to be true to their word. They have to present who they truly are, and the authenticity factor is something which I got to tell you, I found my people in LA, but one of the reasons I wanted to move on is it was time to find the Cincinnati-esque, veneer, ethos, gravitas that's here.
He's Ben Press. He is the founder and CEO of Press Play Media Advisors, matching up companies with various celebrities, actors, musicians, to find some mutual benefit. Ben, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Working Lunch after this. Stick around. You're watching The Crown.
We welcome you from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Nick had with the fan favorite to put it away. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Oh, what a catch. The Cincinnati
Cincinnati sports fans are the best. Loyal, passionate, second to none. This city lives and breathes sports, and now it finally has a morning show to match. I'm James Rapine, and this is First Word, the only morning sports show in Cincinnati and the place where every day starts. We break down the biggest moments and set the agenda for the city. Marissa Contepelli and Jacob Tissett join me to bring the insight and energy you need to start your day. The conversation starts with First Word. First Word, weekdays 7 to 11, part of the Crown Network.
This is the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritchner. Your home for college basketball in the Cincinnati area and across the country every Monday through Friday during the season. Previews, recaps, breakdowns, interviews, and more. You can find it all right here. Your one-stop shop for a quick dose of college hoops on your morning commute. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, a Cincinnati native, and I have been in media for about 10 years now. Formerly on the radio here in Cincinnati, I grew my love and obsession with finding all things fun in Cincinnati and have now made it my life. I'm originally from the West Side here, and then I've pretty much been a downtown girl ever since college. But I did leave for 7 years, and during that time, I really grew and harnessed and cut my teeth doing stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, learning how to ski in Colorado, and now I'm back here in Cincinnati, driven by curiosity and grounded by family.
I'm Paul Fritchner. I'm a 2019 graduate of Xavier University, and I've been covering college basketball for 10 years here in the Cincinnati area. I'm the host of the Rebound Rundown, a daily college basketball podcast during the season and a weekly show in the off-season covering everything you need to know about your favorite team. And if you're not a fan of a team here in Cincinnati, I have you covered from the national perspective as well. Follow it on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. You know, we are sort of in countdown mode here as the show wraps up. You'll remember that the Olive Garden Never-Ending Pasta Pass is going on sale very soon, and the energy here in the studio is palpable for those who are excited about it. Let's check the countdown right here, see where we're at. The show is live, and in a little over an hour, at 2 p.m. Eastern, is when 10,000 Never-Ending Pasta passes go on sale. They're $100 each. They get you unlimited pasta from now, seemingly until the cows go home. The promotion runs from August until early November. I believe it's 13 weeks long. If you're interested in understanding the economics of all this, well, you've tuned into the right show. I've done a little bit of math for you. So the $100 pasta pass versus what never-ending pasta runs anyway. A given never-ending pasta bowl is $14.99. If you get the pass, that's $100. That means the break-even point is 7 visits to make the pasta pass more worthwhile than just going to get the bowl whenever you go. 7 times, boom, you're good. Now, if you're a family that goes out to eat, let's say once a week, single parent of 2, kids' meals are mostly $7 on the Olive Garden menu. You've got your free pasta that you either bought for $15 in the never-ending bowl, or you've got the never-ending pass for $100. So that's really, you're going out to eat, feeding a family of 3 for $15. That's better than going to a lot of fast food drive-thrus, near as I can tell. Let's see here. Not paying the $14.99 minus the cost of the pass means you're saving about $95 over the course of the promotion. But again, there's only 10,000 of these passes available. They go on sale at 2 2 p.m. Eastern, so the clock is ticking. One thing for you to put on your radar for the weekend, assuming that we all survive this pasta Armageddon that's coming in about an hour, is at the Museum Center. Really cool promotion they've got going on. Apollo 11 First Steps Edition. They're doing a screening and an exclusive panel discussion this Saturday, Cincinnati Museum Center. A behind-the-scenes look at one of history's greatest achievements through award-winning documentary footage, first-hand perspectives, those who made the mission possible. That's being put on by Ohio Goes to the Movies, which is an outfit that I should really see about having on the show. They're doing really cool stuff. And you know we love movies here on The Working Lunch. That's our show. Thanks to Ben Press from Press Play Media Advisors as our guest. Get yourself ready to get yourself that pasta pass. Clock is ticking on that. The clock's ticking for tomorrow's show. Big Friday show here on The Crown. We're back at 7 a.m. with First Word with James Rapine. And then the Working Lunch is back at noon. Of course, you've got the Nat Tries That show, the Nat Jones show. Molly Wellman's on that this week. Paul Fritchner's doing all sorts of college sports-related things. It's all happening here on The Crown. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow. There it is. There's that clock. Get it.